Jim, thank you. We have new information tonight. We are continuing to look into the Columbia Housing Authority now 2.5 months after the deaths of Calvin Witherspoon and Derek Roper at Allen Benedict Court. In our investigation, our deep dive team has focused on the management of the Housing Authority, requesting the work history of the executive director. News 19's Lauren Thomas joins us now with more on what we found.
Yeah, and Darcy, we received the personnel file for Executive Director Gilbert Walker through the Freedom of Information Act, and in it we discovered several letters of concern by Walker's former boss.
For 50 years, Gilbert Walker has worked for the Columbia Housing Authority in different roles, from property manager to assistant administrator, receiving accolades along the way. But it wasn't until his role as the deputy for housing management in the early 90s that there began to be red flags in his file. Rodney Fauser, who was executive director from 1990 to 2000, wrote several letters of concern to Walker between 1991 and 97, criticizing Walker's ability to manage his staff. In 1992, Fauser wrote a letter of concern after staff under Walker failed to collect rent and complete inspections, saying there's no excuse for the apparent failure of your oversight responsibility. After a thorough investigation of why this occurred, I can only reach the conclusion that the reports necessary for you to monitor team progress were in place and you simply ignored them. Another letter from Fauser in 1997 questioned maintenance readiness in units for new residents, writing that the condition of the apartments was totally unsatisfactory. And what actions like this tell me is that you and your staff care nothing for our residents. We spoke to Fauser on the phone about his concerns at the time.
Basically, people could do things and there was no accountability. And so what you had to do was frequently sit the folks down and explain to them again they're out of a job if they don't do it, and then when you did fire them, you got holy hell.
Despite Fauser's concerns with Walker, his annual reviews reflected a different story, positive feedback, including receiving substantially exceeds requirements for several annual reviews. When asked about Walker's performance reviews compared to the letters of concern, Fauser explained that Walker's influence in the community played a big role in his decisions, and he regrets that.
I would have to take fault too, because I put up with a lot of it, and I shouldn't have, and in retrospect, I was stupid for doing it.
Now, Gilbert Walker became executive director in January of 2000 and now is set to retire here on June 30th. But this file shows 50 years of his experience at the Columbia Housing Authority, and in it you heard those letters of concern.
Why do you think Fauser decided he wanted to speak to us today?
Well, he's been speaking to us throughout, including writing a letter last month expressing his concerns with what he has seen since the discovery of the deaths of Calvin Witherspoon and Derek Roper at Allen Benedict Court. So he's kind of said, if you want to reach out, you can. And so I reached out today and he talked.
He decided he wanted to talk. All right, Lauren, thank you so much.